Similar to what we learned in the previous video about intervals of a second, an interval of a third can also be either major or minor depending upon the amount of steps separating each note. For example, an interval of a minor third occurs when two notes are separated by the distance of 3 consecutive half steps. Now, we know that a whole step is essentially the same as 2 consecutive half steps. Therefore, if 2 half steps equals 1 whole step, then 3 consecutive half steps may also be looked at as being comparatively the same as 1 whole step and 1 half step. Let's use this pattern of steps to figure out what an interval of a minor third above the note A is. A whole step above the note A is the note B, and a half step above the note B is the note C. As you can see, an interval of a minor third above the note A is the note C. By following this pattern of steps, you will be able to figure out what an interval of a minor third above any note is. As mentioned in the opening video of this series, an interval of a major third occurs when two notes are separated by the distance of 4 consecutive half steps. Knowing that 4 half steps is comparatively the same as 2 whole steps, let's figure out what an interval of a major third above the note G is. Starting on the note G, 1 whole step takes us to the note A. And another whole step above the note A is the note B. Here we see that an interval of a major third above the note G is the note B. This pattern of steps, which produces an interval of a major third, may also be applied to any note. In certain situations, using the scale to figure out different intervals above a given note may be a viable option as well. For example, we just learned that an interval of a minor third above the note A is the note C. That being said, if we take a look at an A minor scale, we can see that the third note in the scale is also the note C. In other words, an interval of a minor third above any given note is also the third scale degree of a corresponding minor scale. With this in mind, let's figure out what an interval of a minor third above the note G is. Looking at the notes of a G minor scale, we can see that the third scale degree, or the third note in the scale, is the note B flat. Therefore, an interval of a minor third above the note G is the note B flat. Let's double check by counting the amount of steps which produces an interval of a minor third like we learned earlier in this video. A whole step above the note G is the note A, and a half step above the note A is the note B flat. This same method of using the scale may be applied to intervals of a major third as well. We already know that an interval of a major third above the note G is the note B. Looking at the notes of a G major scale, we can see that the third scale degree, or the third note in the scale, is the note B. In that same respect, the third note of an E major scale is the note G sharp. If we follow the pattern of steps which produces an interval of a major third, we will see that G sharp is in fact an interval of a major third above the note E. An interval of a third applies to any two notes which span 3 positions on the staff. When reading intervals of a third on the staff, you will notice that each note will always go either from a line directly to the next line above or below it, or from a space directly to the next space above or below it. Knowing this makes identifying intervals of a third on the staff relatively simple. However, just like intervals of a second, it is up to the performer to determine whether the distance separating each note is an interval of a minor third or an interval of a major third. In the next video, we are going to discuss an interval of a perfect fourth and learn exactly what it means to call it perfect.